of course, it goes wrong. Now, it was introduced in context.
Screen 1 presents an unusual and sometimes disturbing film.
But if you miss that context, well, it was a clever show. It knew how to use and misuse the medium, and it scared quite a lot of people, and it influenced a generation of writers and producers. Not technically news, though. Given the tabloid fury afterwards, no one's made anything similar since, although after nearly 30 years, we are probably about due for someone to trot it. There are exemptions for channels with low budgets, small audience shares, and for broadcasters who are just starting out, but even from day one, as an absolute minimum, 10% of a channel's output has to have subtitles as an option. Once the channel's established, that goes up to 80%, plus 10% has to have optional audio description, 5% must have sign language, even if that's just added on later. Accessibility should be a right and a legal duty, and occasionally channels do get called out for forgetting that. Controversial opinion, this should be true for YouTube as well. Not for small channels just starting out, but I do think that if you have the sort of YouTube channel that spends, let's say, a decent amount of money or a decent amount of time on it, it's like $2 a minute maximum, or just a little bit of your time. Oh, look at me, I bought a Lamborghini. Buy some damn subtitles. Also, I could do a whole video on advertising law and product placement. I still intend to at some point in promising for ages, but I do want to highlight just one specific rule. 12 minutes. The maximum amount of commercials allowed on all British channels. For some of the older channels, it's even less, it's 7 or 8 minutes per hour. And that's it. There are a few other rules about how far apart commercial breaks can be from each other, how long they can be, and occasional small loopholes for odd circumstances, but the big number is 12 minutes per hour maximum. And that's not some rolling average total, that's per hour block, which means that channels will juggle their schedule by a couple of minutes to fit things in. If there's a less popular show right before a primetime ratings grabber, that less popular show might have no adverts in the middle at all. Sure, they might still take a break, show a couple of trailers for their own channel that don't count towards that big time on the clock, but the schedulers will make sure that there's as much advertising as possible just before the top of the hour, just before the big show, and then just after the top of the next part. There is art to fitting all that in. And out of all these rules, this is the one thing you can't quite get away with. The regulator checks, they will notice many channels will be pulled up. One thing you've noticed while I was researching this, there is one other line in those rules that says that commercial breaks must be taken in a way that doesn't disrupt the flow of the program. It explicitly rules out that Who Wants to Be a Millionaire trick where someone has just chosen their answer and it's all dramatic and the host says,
time for a break.
Like, it's really clear that's not allowed. There's no other way to read that sentence, but the show's hosts have been doing it 20 years now and they've never been told. There are some rules, apparently, where entertainment
First fucking weed ran.